Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Venus, all retrograde right now. What does it mean to have these outer planets and Venus retrograde? Mercury will be stationing retrograde on August 23rd. So we've got this retrograde energy. What does it look like and what does it mean for us? How does it contribute to the integration we're doing in this current moon cycle as the moon is waning from last Tuesday's full moon in Aquarius, and we're heading to the next new moon that will be in Leo. He'll be in Leo. So as we integrate this moon cycle, as we integrate what we've been processing and learning and digesting and experiencing in recent weeks, how do these outer planet retrogrades contribute to that? How does Venus retrograde fit into that? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, August 6th. My name is Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. So today, looking at these outer planets, what does it mean? First of all, what is an outer planet? An outer planet is representing certain energies, just like each of the planets in astrology represents a certain part of ourselves. It represents a certain energy quality that shows up in our experience. And so each planet kind of has its own like personality of what it expresses, what it represents, and what it's speaking to in terms of our lives and what we might be going through at any given time, our situations and circumstances. And then what does it mean to have those planets be retrograde? Just like Mercury going retrograde, we see the planets moving backwards through the zodiac for a period of time because overall, the planets move forward through the zodiac. They have one direction that they go. So just like the hands on a clock, they go around and around and around, and they're orbiting, of course, the sun. But we see that from our perspective here on Earth. And so because the Earth is also moving and in a moving relationship with these other planets, sometimes what we see is them moving backward through the backdrop of the sky, of the fixed stars that we see, in the vast distance. So we see it to us, it looks like the planets are going back over territory that they've already covered, going back over something they've already been through. So in our experiences and for ourselves, we experience that quality of review, reflection, going over something again, re-experiencing something or deepening into it, right? So what we do is we go inward with the qualities that are represented by those planets, and we have an opportunity to deepen our understanding, to deepen our awareness and our ways of working with those energies by understanding how they show up inside of us a little bit better. So, of course, that happens when Mercury goes retrograde, as it will on August 23rd. And when Mercury goes retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication and mental processes and problem solving and ideas and how we think. So when Mercury goes retrograde, that's what we're reviewing. We're reviewing our thinking. We're reconsidering how we think about things, how we process information, how communication has occurred or not occurred, right? So sometimes communication gets funky or kind of muddled while Mercury is retrograde. Things aren't necessarily connecting up because we're going backward. We're going back to places we've already been. And so the forward moving kind of goes ka-clunk, ka-clunk. So that's happening with Mercury. When Mercury's retrograde, that's happening in our communication and our technologies, which is, our information systems, also in our thinking. And communication, by the way, right? Like we think about it, right, in modern times, uh, as digital communication largely, right? But communication can actually be from my lips to your ears and vice versa, right? Like we're actually talking to each other. Our body language is another form of communication. And so that can maybe something that I said is what I meant is not what you heard, or what you said is not what I thought you said. And and so we can have those miscommunications, those misalignments of ideas and truth that we're trying to share with one another, even on a very mundane level. Like, we just miscommunicate about some very ordinary thing, and then we can have a laugh about it maybe, but that's the kind of thing that Mercury retrograde that shows up for us during Mercury retrograde. So Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, these are outer planets. So the planet Pluto is about deeper places of truth. It is about connecting with the core, the essence, the deeper truth, where the power really is. And so the planet Pluto reminds us that in order to transform, we need to bring what has been hidden into light. So what happens when the planet Pluto goes retrograde? It takes us into a need to review our truth, to review the ways that we are transforming, to deepen our understanding of our own power, what it means to be powerful, how to step into our power. And it's going backward and reviewing some old territory in terms of some deeper truths that we may have already learned, and now we need to learn them again, or we need to deepen our learning, our knowledge, our wisdom, our understanding of those deeper truths. So it's a sacred time when Pluto is retrograde. It's taking us deep within ourselves to really connect with maybe something we've already healed or transformed, to feel that healing, to let it permeate more fully. It's a chance to get it right. So with Mercury, think about Mercury retrograde. It's like this review process is an opportunity to reconsider things we've written or said or thought about. With Pluto, we get to reconsider what we've healed, what we've learned about ourselves, how we've connected with our own truth. And we get a chance to do it again, do it even better, do it more fully. And so the power of this retrograde energy is that we have this opportunity to deepen, to do it again, to have another chance to do even better at whatever those energies are representing. Okay, so that's Pluto. And Saturn retrograde. Saturn is about structures, systems, foundations, ways that we organize, things that we plan, systems we use for planning, and the map that we create to create whatever it is we want to have a result in, whether that's writing out a to-do list or making a schedule, or putting things in order in your home or office or space. So that when Saturn goes retrograde, it's taking us into a deeper awareness of how we organize. It's giving us an opportunity to revisit our planning, to look at where we are at in terms of getting results, and is there anything we want to change or optimize, make more efficient about our organization, our systems. So maybe, or a chance to review, go over your to-do list, go over your schedule, ask, how is this working for me? How is it not working for me? Is there anything I want to change? And again, this is also a process of going deeper within ourselves. So looking deeper at how where we find our backbone, where we ground into, what is our place of self-trust, and how can we deepen into that and create stronger foundations for ourselves. So with Saturn retrograde, we want to be thinking about not just plans and ways of organizing and how to get more efficient, but also what gives us a strong foundation for moving forward. How can we build that deeper place of self-confidence, self-esteem? So things coming up around that, and opportunities again to get it right, to do it again, right? Maybe something that you have worked on already, but it's a chance to look at it again, because almost certainly there's something more there for you to get out of it, and to build those foundations of self-confidence and self-trust. So you're building your structure, right? You're focusing on the infrastructure that helps you be efficient, effective, powerful, and able to get results. So deepening into that, and it's not always glamorous, but very worthwhile, right? It helps us feel supported at deeper levels. So that's Saturn. And then Neptune. Neptune is the planet of dreams, of spirituality, of transcendence, interconnectedness. It is the planet where we dissolve boundaries and recognize that what you feel impacts me, and what I feel impacts you, and that we all are connected and part of this bigger whole. So we're all like drops in the great ocean of being. So that's Neptune. What does it mean if Neptune goes retrograde? It means we're going back over spiritual themes, having an opportunity to review and reflect on either dreams or myths or metaphors for our lives, and art, creative process, some of that bigger creativity that comes through, like in a flow, right? Where it's almost like it's just coming through you, and you're not controlling it so much as you are allowing it. So an opportunity to redo anything that feels like that, working on creative processes, supporting yourself in creating a container for your creative work, for the unfolding of your spiritual needs, your spirituality, your spiritual contributions, your wisdom. So reviewing and revisiting the containers for that bigger picture energy, how you create it, how you sustain it, how you view it, right? Thinking about it in terms of, hey, this is really important in my life, and I do need to make my art, my creative process, my spiritual needs a priority. So that Neptune retrograde is taking away any sense of control that we may have had, even while Saturn retrograde is trying to help us reestablish a feeling of control, I guess. But Neptune retrograde is kind of like, no, whatever you thought you had control over, you can just let that go, because this is about a bigger picture of flow. And that is what you are learning about. So when you trust this bigger picture of flow, you can actually tap into a bigger clarity, a greater clarity, a bigger spiritual truth, I guess, something that is meaningful to you, something that brings meaning to your life and helps you to express that meaning through your ways of being in the world. And so that's Neptune retrograde. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Neptune also retrograde in Pisces. Having both of those planets retrograde in Pisces, which is a sign of transcendence and interconnectedness and oneness, is also kind of asking us to review spiritual principles, what our hearts want, what brings meaning into our lives, and how we can be in more alignment with that, letting it flow and move through us. But also, what is the container? So that's the Saturn part, right? What is the container? What is the structure? What kinds of ways do I need to support myself to make this happen, to help me flow in this way? And so remember, with retrograde, it's a review process. We're going over things we've already been over, and we have this ability to make it better, to an opportunity to redo, revisit, revamp, reconsider, and deepen into the possibilities and do it even better. So not to put a lot of pressure on you, just to recognize that's what's happening. It's not a time of a huge amount of forward movement with these outer planets retrograde. It's a time of inner work. You're working on the deeper parts of these things, and they will eventually go direct again, and then you will have that deeper foundational work. That's why you do it, so that when things move forward again, you have things in place to begin to flow with what is, what opportunities show up, or what forward ways of moving you can take once those planets go direct. And the planets will all, each one is going direct in its own timing. So Pluto goes direct on October 10th. Neptune goes direct on December 6th. Saturn goes direct on November 4th. We also have Venus retrograde until September 3rd. So that is bringing in this quality of beauty, what we find beautiful. And sign of Leo, Venus retrograde in Leo is about creativity and self-expression in terms of beauty. So themes of art and how we express ourselves, how we dress, how we appear, but also how we share who we are with the world around us. So being yourself, being true to yourself, you can't share it if you aren't comfortable with it within your own skin. And some of these outer planets being retrograde is kind of supporting that deeper process, even as we're looking at our creative process on the more daily level, right? The more superficial, I guess, level, like how things show up and what we do, and what it looks like in our daily lives. So with that, we're also doing this deeper work on who we are, creating deeper foundations that support ourselves and support us in flowing with that deeper truth and sharing and shining from what it is we're here to offer. And when you think about it, like, that's really the only reason you're here. I mean, there's all kinds of things, right? Love and the things you create and do in your life, etc. But really, it's that what you're here to do is be you, to be you more fully. And nobody else can be you, and you really can't be anybody else. You can try, you can measure yourself against other people, but is that really a good use of your time? So how can you think about all of this as cultivating who you are, so that you can be more powerful, more effective, more authentic, more fully you in your daily life, and in the ways that you do your day, contribute, make a difference for others, produce things in the short term and the long term. Lots to think about here. So Venus is retrograde until September 3rd, and Mercury again will be going retrograde on August 23rd. So there's a little insight for you into retrograde, and just to put it in context of where we're at in the moon cycle, Monday night, tomorrow night, is the third quarter moon. That's when we have another point in the moon cycle of sort of a pressure to step up our game, a feeling of challenge to ask us to get clear about who we are and make a decision of some sort. With the third quarter moon, when the moon is waning, we have that pressure to step up our game is coming in the area of integration. So how do we implement what we've been learning? How do we put that into practice? How do we shift our ideas, our ways of thinking, our beliefs about things to be more in alignment with the things we've been learning and discovering throughout this moon cycle, which again is about self-care? Began with the Cancer new moon on July 17th. And so with that evolving, unfolding energy of self-care, we're in the part of the moon cycle now that's about integration, digesting, taking that energy and working with it to figure out who we want to be going forward, right? And clarifying who we are, asking ourselves those deeper questions, and how we can align with a deeper truth, a deeper feeling of being our true selves. And so creating the container, allowing, reviewing, and reconsidering our beliefs around who we are, how we share, how we express ourselves, how we create, right? In all the ways that the creative process flows through us, and how we can be more of who we are so that we feel happier and more whole, but also so we can be better at contributing to the world around us, so we can make a difference and make the world a better place, which is really what all of this is about, is discovering how we can respond to whatever issues, challenges, situations we find ourselves in, how we respond to that, to participate in creating it differently, creating it more the way we want it to be. So what's one little thing that you can do to feel good about how you're taking care of yourself and how you're taking care of the world you live in and the world you want to live in, and supporting that to emerge, because as we go forward into the future, we don't know what we're creating until we see what's coming through. So trust yourself. You're here to create and keep going. All right, so we're integrating, we're heading toward that third quarter moon, and that's going to be a deepening, again, a deepening of trust in ourselves, of asking ourselves what we believe, what's important to us, and how to live and be and make decisions and choices and do things from that place. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and help get the word out there about these videos and what I'm sharing here with daily astrology of unshakable self-care. Thank you so much for being here, for all your likes and comments, and for sharing with your friends. And I love hearing from you. So let me know how this is landing for you, what you think, what you have questions about, what you want to know more about, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.